Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. It's
Oh,
Dad's birthday special.
it is,
And
isn't
we
it?
are back.
Yep.
Yes, with
No,
another
it's not every day
podcast.
that a dinosaur's daughter does the introductions. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Check it out.
We will not say how old you are,
No,
but
we won't.
very happy birthday to you,
Especially if
Dad.
you want to go on living. Sorry. Hey, what do we do in the shadows?
What do we do in the shadows? Well,
You
an awful
protect
lot.
your father. That's what you do. How are you?
I'm good. How are you going?
This is a very special edition
It
of
is
our
a very special
podcast
edition.
TV.
Yeah,
It's all we've got.
all we've got. And we are celebrating your birthday with this very special episode where
Kind of.
I said to you, you can make me watch anything,
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me
literally
tell you,
anything.
I got so distracted this week because of so many things going on. I
Yeah.
started watching the TV series
Yes.
of the movie, the 2014 movie
Oh,
that features the subject matter we're talking about. You know,
right.
what do we do in the shadows?
What we do in the shadows.
And then I had to go back and watch the movie,
Yeah. Well, I
which
actually
is
haven't
just a
seen the
hoot.
movie.
Which is just a hoot. You haven't seen the
Well,
movie?
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh
So
my God.
I've only seen the TV show.
Oh, well, the whole thing's based on this movie that was made back in
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
And of course, it features your famous actor now, who's just about the hottest property out of New Zealand. Once upon a time, it was the director of the Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
and no longer is it the same man. It's now Taika Waititi,
Yeah.
who is
Legend.
his actual name is Taika Cohen. And
Oh.
yeah, his father is a New Zealander, and tremendous, more authentic than everyone because he's a Maori. Okay,
Mm.
but his mother was, a terrifically talented woman. She
Mhm.
was, of all things, an Ashkenazi Jew, and she had some Scottish, Irish, and English heritage. So quite a magnificent mix, and it allows the product of that union to
Mm.
really be a talented boy. And
Yeah.
Tiki's just, I saw him for the very first time in something else, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but he has come
You said
into
it last
my,
week.
no, it was something earlier that I'd seen.
Oh,
Might have been a
okay.
Marvel movie, but when he really came to my attention was as a director or a senior producer
Mm.
of The Mandalorian.
Mm.
He's part of
Yeah.
that ensemble of directors that
Yeah.
they've used to create this terrific new series, The Mandalorian, which has been accepted so well,
Mm.
especially with Baby Yoda, who, by the way, made a very special appearance at my birthday.
Yes.
Baby Yoda got pride of place
It
at my
did.
birthday.
Definitely the second I saw it, I was like, that needs to
That needs to be used. And
that
of
needs to
course, what
happen.
happens now, Boba Fett is about to join us,
Mm.
and another great character from the Lucas stable. And Boba Fett's,
Yeah.
Everyone saw how well The Mandalorian, the bounty hunter, has been accepted. They thought,
Mm.
hey, why not bring Boba Fett's to life? And
Yeah.
I think it starts this week sometime in
Yeah.
Australia. So it's going to be very exciting. So get a handle on it. So Mr. Cohen is, very, very capable. He
Mm.
also plays Viago in the movie, who is the vampire who's 379 years old, just a little older than your father, Lauren,
Just a little.
just a little
Yeah.
older. And I've got to tell you, what you learn about this movie is a lot. It's
Mm.
done as a mock documentary.
Yeah.
So this television crew have all been given crucifixes, Yeah.
Are we
And
talking about the TV show or are you still talking about the movie?
I'm talking about the movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this
Okay.
is where the imagination now goes wild, because
Mm,
that it was so well received by
mm,
a portion of the marketplace that they
mm.
thought, hang on, this has got life. So now
Yeah.
we have the television series,
Yeah.
yeah, which is available on Foxtel Go.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to
Yep.
pay Prime to see the
Stop.
movie. Yeah. I had to. I'm telling you, I've had a big
I'm sure you
birthday.
could have found it
I've
elsewhere.
had a big birthday week, baby. It cost me
Yeah.
the grand total of $2.99 to see the 2014 movie.
Oh my God. I should send you
What
a
do we,
check.
what do we do? What do they say? What's the
What do
title
we
again?
do?
And
What
as I
what
said,
we do in the shadows.
it's this intriguing mock documentary style that's
Mm.
adopted now for both. Okay.
Yeah.
But the movie
Yeah.
was the first time they've used it. Now it's so badly done. It's really, really good. Okay?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
intriguing. Very clever. It's relentless.
Yeah.
It keeps coming at you. And
Mm.
I've discovered something else.
What's that?
In the TV series, it
Yeah.
dawns on me that Nandor, one
Yeah.
of the vampires, not Viago,
Mm.
because Viago is only in the movie.
Right.
In the TV series, Nandor the Relentless
Mm-hmm.
may well be related, or I might be related to Nandor the Relentless, because we, of course, you may remember, we have forebears from Ottoman Turkey.
Oh, wow.
So get a handle on this
Well,
dinosaur.
I mean,
It's got some very special roots.
I wouldn't mind.
And it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
I love the characters. In the TV series,
Yeah.
they introduce a guy called Colin Robinson,
Yeah. Colin Robinson.
who, of course, is the most common vampire you'll ever meet.
Mhm.
He's an energy vampire.
Yeah, they exist.
Yeah. And they suck your energy.
They do.
It's
They
just
drain you of
amazing.
it completely.
I actually got very comfortable with Guillermo,
yeah.
the vampire's assistant,
Yeah.
who's been with him for 10 years, not
Yeah.
2.
Well, we should probably say that it is film documentary style or mockumentary style for the TV series, and
Yeah.
it follows the lives of 3 vampires that live
4.
together. Well, I guess I should say 4.
Yep.
With Colin Robinson.
Yep.
And Guillermo is their familiar,
Yes.
which
their servant.
means he is, yes,
Their
essentially,
servant. And the best thing is, this is the next
Human
best thing
servant.
to come out of New Zealand.
yeah.
This is the
Well,
next
I mean,
best.
it was filmed in Canada.
Yeah, the TV series has been filmed in Canada, but
Yeah.
the whole idea has
Yeah.
come out of New Zealand.
yeah.
Now imagine 4 vampires in a flat
I
in
know.
New Zealand.
Well, this is no flat. This is no ordinary flat.
and I've discovered so many things about vampires.
Mm,
You know, in the not only in the telling of this movie,
yeah.
and there are some scenes in it that are just absurdly magical.
Yeah.
But a fun fact: vampires in the TV series, in the movie, promise not to eat stew, and Stew's actually a character, not
It's very
STEW,
clever.
but STU. So there's all of this comedy, and this it's really cleverly written.
Mm,
And it's also absurd at the same time.
yeah.
And
It's insane.
there are so many things that vampires can do. They can transform, and of course,
Yep.
then they can fly. They can
Yep.
hypnotize
Bat.
people. They can hypnotize people, Lauren. They can
Yeah.
hypnotize
Hypnotize.
people, Lauren.
yeah.
Make them
Yeah.
do whatever they want. But there are a whole host of things they can't do.
Yeah.
And you got to love this. They can't swim. I repeat,
swim.
they cannot swim. They
Can't
cannot suntan. They can't
Cannot
watch
suntan.
daytime television. Can't eat chips.
They
they
can't
serve-
eat human food in general.
Correct. Yeah, because they expectorate. They They,
Yeah.
Anyway, they can't clean up for themselves, which explains why they need servants.
The familiar.
The familiar.
Yeah.
And you can't tell vampire hunters where you live. That's a no-no.
Big no-no.
It's a big no-no. All right.
Big no-no.
And you can't bring humans into the flat.
Unless they're virgins.
Unless they're virgins. And then you can take them to the masquerade ball. Oh, and there's another thing you can't do. If you go to the masquerade ball, you can't go as Blade, the vampire hunter.
Okay.
It's a no-no.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind for my next vampire party.
And so it's as I said, if you haven't got a grasp of what we're talking about, it's a movie that it was so well received. It's now taken on a life of its own. It's become a television series, and it's available on Foxtel. You got it on Foxtel?
Yeah, I was house sitting at the time, so I got to watch all 3 seasons.
And it's just like,
it was great.
Wow, man, what can't you do?
I know. How far did you get into the series?
First season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
there's more fun to come.
Well, there is more fun to come. You also find out a little bit more about each vampire.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost as if they become more human throughout the series, which is really,
hang on.
really
are we talking Vladislav? No, hang on. The ones I keep confusing them. There's Jeff, who's the night watchman.
No, I'm not Jeff.
Not Jeff.
Nandor.
There's Baron, the Baron.
And Naja.
Naja. Naja is the one that's had. How old is Naja?
I love Naja. I don't care. Naja's great.
But I want to know how she has managed to have sex and outrageous relationships with just about everybody. I'm starting to wonder. Daughter of Dinosaur, what is going on?
Yeah. Well, do you want to know something else very funny about Naja?
Tell me about it.
She's Greek.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I've heard it said there were some vampires in the Hellenic times, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, Naja must be one of them.
These are the sorts of explanations that eventually get to come out.
Yeah.
These are the sort of
ones
fun
that make
facts
sense.
that people have been holding back. There's so much misinformation in the world, Lauren, with this COVID pandemic. There are things people don't want to tell you about, but we're prepared to tell you a whole bunch of things without ruining the plot of the Vampires series, this mock documentary, which goes by the fabulously wonderful title, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny. And you know what?
Go on.
There is just so much fun and ridiculousness to be had when you watch it.
Just watching them transform, watching them fly away.
Yeah.
Watching them
costumes,
fight,
just
watching them eat or attempt to eat.
Everything is great. Yeah. Bat. I love it.
But my advice, check out the movie.
Yeah, I will. I want to watch it. Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. So good. So good. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice, easy watch for you.
It is. But I had to channel the dinosaur's daughter just to get in the mood. It's been that sort of week.
Yeah. Hey,
imagine the trials and travails.
I didn't do anything to age you.
I've gone white. I've gone white. Just all the challenges just to see the movie. And then it dawned on me, hang on a minute. I'm supposed to be watching the series. And of course,
you did extra homework.
And the best part is Di would wander past at various stages.
Yeah.
And go, what is going and whose accent is that? Yeah. Is that real? No, it's a mock documentary. What's that? Oh, it's like, you had to be there, Lauren.
Well, that's just it, right? The accents are great. Like they really, really have got these characters down pat. And the writing just makes you love them even at the moments that they're unlovable. You just fall for them instantly.
You like when they go out together?
Yeah, I love it. I love it when they just cause drama. It's just so fun.
Cause everything. They cause
Well, because they just don't
mayhem.
realize, right? Like they're that disconnected, especially in the first season.
Yeah.
They're that disconnected with what it means to be human that they completely forget the implications that, their actions have on other people.
And it's also,
And that kind of like is diminished a little bit more as you follow through the seasons. But yeah, it's really
yes,
interesting.
because familiarity will do that.
Mm,
See,
yeah.
the first time round, you're getting a handle on what's going on and how this is delivered. And you're also trying to identify the different vampires and their idiosyncrasies. And the other thing you learn very quickly is all the props are nearly as old as the vampires.
Yeah.
So sometimes they open, sometimes they close, sometimes they prefer to do something else.
Yeah.
So it's watching the familiars doing their level best to help their masters. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Check it out.
So yeah, make sure you check out What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes. And this week you asked me to watch a little special on football. And we're talking English Premier League football called
only
Fever Pitch.
Only because you're a great fan of David Beckham and Posh Spice. I remember how much you loved the Spice Girls.
I love the Spice Girls. Yeah, I loved the Spice Girls.
Correct.
That's correct. Much. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. It was definitely really interesting to hear about the history because I really didn't know that it only really started. English Premier League only really started in 1992.
Correct.
That was really interesting, because I would have been 7 when it started, but for as long as I can remember, it's just always been a thing. And I could almost time myself where I was at in certain moments of what was happening throughout the documentary. And when I was working at Kmart back in all those days.
Yes, I remember those days.
Yep. And Fatima was a massive Arsenal fan.
Correct.
And then somebody else at work was a Manchester United fan. And they were always fighting about just the game in itself. And it was funny that it made me remember those times when I was watching it because
that's what good series really do. That's what they do. They draw on your own experience. And I say to people time and time again, I don't really like judging movies or series too much because quite often you'll be watching something and it's very relevant to you. So it has greater significance, right? Watching a young David Beckham, watching young Posh walking in to interview him. And she was like hot for him even before the door opened. Remember that embarrassing scene? She's talking to the camera saying, oh, look, we're going to go and do an interview with David Beckham. He's through the door there. He's hot. And watching that would have meant much more to you being a Spice Girls fan.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everything that's come since then. The other thing is, did you enjoy all the skirmishes and all the mistakes that they made trying to promote the game with a big sumo wrestling suits that they were trying to, use at halftime to entertain the crowd, and then the crowd was going, "We don't want a bar of this.
Yeah,
too American
we just want
for
the
us.
Game.
Or too Korean for us. We just want the football.
Yeah, just play the game.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was about, especially for the fans. They really made it, especially in terms of Manchester United.
Well, that's why you get the title. What's the title? Fever Pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's only chapter 1. So they're doing it right through to today. So the next chapter will include the rise of Chelsea under Roman Abramovich. It'll be the rise of Manchester City under Sheikh Mansour. It'll be the rise of all these clubs that have been in the wilderness but have just been bought by billionaires, and Manchester United now, who very nearly was bought by Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
And all the fans were saying, Thank God we haven't given it to a billionaire. Well, I've got a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
Because in chapter 2, the
Oh, no
Glazers,
spoilers.
the American billionaires who own another sporting franchise or a couple of them in America, they bought Manchester United. So whatever the fans thought they had won,
Yeah. It was just one part of the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and as you touched on, it gives it's a tremendously well told, well produced package, and a couple of the characters that you saw probably for the first time, David Hill, who was the head honcho of Fox Sport.
Had no idea.
He was my boss. He was the man that moved me from SBS to Channel 9. He was the one that said, "Come on, George, I want you to do Wide World of Sports for us. I want you to do the Today Show for us. I want to use you for State of Origin. I want to use you for this." He was the man who, just before he left Channel 9, was my mentor, one of my two mentors. The other one, of course, was Sam Chisholm. Yeah. And they were the guys that went on to Britain and to Murdoch and created B-Sky B and the Premier League.
Isn't it amazing? Of course,
and then Fox Sports. So to see them and to see that, I knew the story, but when you see it in front of you told by them, you didn't see Sam Chisholm because he's passed away, unfortunately. But tremendous characters. Tremendous characters.
You know what? I liked how they had the footballers there as well. And they were breaking down, kind of like giving you a behind the scenes idea of what was happening in that exact moment.
Did you like the story about one of the Manchester United young boys who thought he had made the team only to be sold to Newcastle for £1 million? And of course, then he got involved with gambling.
Yeah.
And it showed you, just how all that money thrown at young men can affect them. And
they just didn't know what to do with it.
Well, they were getting money that is absurd amounts of money. It's wonderful for them, but for some of them, it was too much to handle. And it's ruined many a young man and a young woman who are seriously well paid, sportsmen and women. You see them. The women are predominantly better at it. They don't have so many horror stories, but there are some. So there are many pitfalls. We see them from the outside and they're multi-millionaires and you think, oh, wow. Well, David Beckham is a classic example of someone who understood very early on, and with his wife on side, they became a tremendously amazing power media couple. I think they together they're just incredible what they've done.
Yeah,
fashion. There's no brand that doesn't want a Posh or a Beckham,
a Becks,
anywhere near them.
It was so funny to me seeing all these men now as they are, and how young some of them looked.
Oh yeah,
and it was because they started when they weren't even 18 yet.
Correct. Well, you saw David Beckham as a 9-year-old, as a 12-year-old signing the paperwork there. That's a big deal.
And his kids look a lot like him, let me tell you.
Don't they?
It's like, oh, there's Romeo.
Yeah, there's Brooklyn.
Yeah, you can just see them in certain parts of his life.
Look, I saw them in New York. I was at Nike headquarters in New York and Madison Avenue. They walked in. They wanted to buy something. And of course, there's this herd mentality. The security came in and made sure that they become a bubble. And this is before COVID. So, they're protecting them even before COVID. Yeah. And they came in and he's walked past us and he said hello because we caught up when he was in Australia doing the LA Galaxy gig.
Yeah, I remember that.
Playing against an Australian football team here, and Channel 10 covered it, and we got a chance to catch up with him. And again, he's just as comfortable in the flesh as you see everything else he does.
Well, they had media training.
Yes, you saw that.
Whereas
you see how
a lot
important
of other
that
footballers
is.
didn't.
Yeah.
Really important.
And all of those guys, those young guys, are now serious television pundits,
Yeah.
and they're being
Yeah, they're
paid
commentators now.
commentators
They're-
and also
yeah.
their opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Opinion piece. So
Yeah.
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's also really good for them in terms of longevity because
course it
clearly they
does.
can't play the sport forever.
Yeah.
So
And there's a
having that
pathway for
ability
them.
as well.
Isn't it great
Yeah.
that there's a pathway for them?
Yeah.
So
Not like NRL.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. Somehow I can't see some of those NRL boys making the leap to punditry or even commentary. Can you imagine?
I mean, they do, some of them.
Some of them do. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's very small numbers.
Yeah.
Very small numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a great many more now in the world game.
Mm.
They're now, you see them. If like Frank Leboeuf, the Frenchman, he does a lot of stuff for ESPN, but he played for Chelsea. He played for France. He's a World Cup winner. And of course, with his French accent, he's another very colorful commentator. So it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very
So you
interesting to
enjoyed it?
watch.
So you enjoyed it? Great
I did.
stuff. There you
I
go.
did. I
So
didn't
it's
understand a
Fever
thing
Pitch.
of what was going on in the game, but
It's Fever
I
Pitch
understood
on
what was
Amazon
happening when they
Prime
wrote
if you
down.
want to catch up. We
Yeah.
thoroughly recommend it, don't we?
Yeah, it was
you
a
go.
great watch.
It's
Even
a
if you're
very
not a fan
special
of football.
endorsement when the dinosaur's daughter says it's a great watch. Yeah, it's really good. Yep. So what is next? What lies
we're gonna
ahead
do-
after
We're going
a
to do
birthday?
Christmas movies, aren't we? Because it's
Oh,
Christmas.
What a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't
Okay.
know if you've got one.
Oh, yes. I should get you to watch one of the grand old ones.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One of
Okay.
the grand let me
Because then
just
I might get you to watch
go on.
a not so grand old one.
Yes. Yes, go on.
It's on Disney.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. I'm pretty sure Mum and I watched it last Christmas,
Yeah.
and we actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it's called Noel. Let me just
Noel.
double check. Yeah, Noel. It's on Disney.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm going to get you to watch something that starred
Mhm.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah, I've never watched
Jimmy
that.
Stewart. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you
It's
to
very
watch
sad though, isn't it? I'll watch it. Right. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Do you know some
Jimmy
people watch
Stewart.
this every year for
Yeah, I know.
Christmas?
Yeah.
And I've never even watched it once.
Excuse me, your mother and I watched it a number of times
Yeah. Well,
because
there you
we
go.
enjoyed it. Let's see if you make the transition and catch up with
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And I'm watching
Well,
Noel.
get
on
ready
on Disney.
to make it Christmassy. Next
Okay,
week.
so for those of you who've just joined us, this has been our podcast, which we do each and every week. It had an extra moment of energy in it because it's my birthday this week. So TV, it's all we've got. And Lauren asked me to go the whole hog and brace myself for this fabulously attentive mock-drama documentary series called What We Do in the Shadows, all about vampires. And it takes the mickey, I think, and also gives you a sense of flavor about every vampire movie you've ever heard about or seen.
Yeah.
And it twists it and turns it. So yeah, if you get it, if you want to have a bit of fun, check it out. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
And it's
don't
both
forget
a
Fever
movie.
Pitch.
It's both a movie
Yeah.
and it's also a television series. And the other thing that Lauren was required to watch was the outstanding new football series, sports series on Amazon Prime called Fever Pitch. And it's telling the story of the English Premier League, which is quite some story, as Lauren found out to her great surprise, which is really great.
Yep. Learning more and more each day.
There you go. And you also discovered for the very first time that the dinosaur's daughter, nearly got herself into trouble during birthday week. We won't tell you how she nearly got into trouble.
No.
But can I just say the dinosaur's daughter supplied the dinosaur with the most magnificent birthday gift. Oh dear.
I'm very pleased to hear
talk
that.
about slick and good.
And can we also say thank you to Australia Post for getting it there on time? Like that's a big call.
Shock and awe.
But they did it.
They did it.
So,
but
yeah.
can I also say the magazines that were required to support and cover the cargo, this precious cargo, are also extraordinarily interesting and will also get a good read.
Yeah, I mean, they're old issues, but you should still enjoy them.
Hey, there's nothing. Hey, when you're talking to a dinosaur, old is good.
That's true.
There's so much history in that dinosaur. And those books, let me tell you, those two books will get a serious reading from cover to cover, Lauren.
To cover. Yeah, I believe
it.
How
about that?
I believe it.
So until our Christmas week episode next week.
Yes. Enjoy. Try to rest
Toodaloo.
up. I know you had a big day for your birthday.
I had a big day. I nearly nodded off, and it just you had to be there. You had to be there.
Oh well, maybe next year.
Oh, please talk to the premiers in each state and see if they can open the borders for a change.
Well, our cases have just gone up again, so I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Omicron. Yeah. Think Omicron. Wow.
Yeah.
Stay safe, darling.
You too.
Talk to you soon.
Speak to you
and
soon. Love you.
And wherever you go tonight, have a great time.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Woohoo.